of the opinion at this point that maybe we as a governing body need to pull together what we know and what we've heard from our constituents. Maybe have a town hall, open discussion with everybody, then have a work session to see whether or not we can get to a point where we're ready to make some changes. But considering we also were planning on doing a code review already, it probably needs to try and coincide in with that timeline, and I don't think we're planning on that until late summer or into the fall. Is that correct?
Well, we anticipate bringing the comprehensive plan back to you in the fall. Excuse me. The other thing that we're looking at is what pieces of the code we really need for business stimulation.
Yeah.
And then the total code would be something that we've asked to do after January. But we could certainly, if you'd like to have like a community meeting, we could certainly do that. We can look at it and provide you with some recommendations on things in the code that we think need to be looked at as well, because we've started to assess the code also.
Well, we'll talk offline about that and see if we've got an upcoming day that would work and pull council members for who would be able to attend.
Okay.
I think there's definitely some impetus for having such a meeting.
Okay.
And you guys have clear direction on the two other items Christie brought up?
We're going to do it as part of this meeting, this town hall meeting or this council workshop.
No. The first two.
The employee salary review and
yes.
the March salary review and the
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the other code items she brought up.
Anyone else? Council have items for staff?
I received a return receipt requested certified letter today from Gardner Energy. I'd like to read that if I could. As a valued utility customer with the City of Gardner, your safety is of the utmost importance to us. Electric meters are read monthly, and each time an employee visits the meter, a visual inspection is performed to ensure the service installation is in good condition. During a recent inspection, a serious maintenance problem was identified. The electric meter box was pulled away from the house, which represents a serious safety hazard. You may elect to fix the problem yourself, or you may contact an electrician to have the defect repaired. Before performing any maintenance, please contact the electric department to schedule a time for one of our crews to come out and disconnect power to the meter socket. Our crews will remove the meter seal and disconnect the power to the meter socket, allowing for the repairs. Crews will reconnect the power and reseal the meter socket once the repairs are completed. In order to protect you and your property, if you have not contacted our office within 30 calendar days from the date of this notice, your electric service will be disconnected. So I guess my first question is, do we really want people doing their own electrical repairs on electrical service box on the outside of their house? Secondly, they did supply a diagram and highlighted the area that was supposedly deficient, which from my inspection of it is not correct. Thirdly, I know now we have electricians install the meters, is that correct? But it used to be that the City of Gardner did that. Is that true?
Yeah, the electricians have always installed the can and the part that's attached to the house. Basically, everything that goes into the house is the property owner's.
I'm sorry, say
everything that goes into the house is the property owner's responsibility. The meter is just the only city responsibility.
But the meter is owned by the city, is that correct?
That is correct, but not the can that's attached to it.
I mean, that's something that that represents good judgment on our part. We have companies come out to do locates for when people plant a tree, and even though it costs probably thousands of dollars a month, it seems like if a box is pulling off of someone's house, that rather than turn off the electricity, that it might be safer just for the crew, as long as they're out there doing all these other things, to just reaffix it to the house.
If you started doing that, as I say, the box is a homeowner responsibility. If the city crew started doing that work, number one, they would be spending their time doing work that is not a city responsibility. And number two, it's, if something does happen, it's a homeowner responsibility.
Number three, we take on the liability when we do the
For
installation.
the repair that we make.
So so let me actually just say this, if Larry would call and ask somebody to come to the house to do that, do we bill extra for that?
No, we would remove the meter so that to disconnect the city, or the electricity, so that the repair can be made and the electricity would be put back on.
But we wouldn't make the repair?
No, that is
Okay,
correct. We
got
just
it.
basically disconnect.
Well, there's no danger to the people.
Well, I can't see that the box is pulled away. I mean, I looked at my neighbors, and the document is not correct.
I would have to look at it tomorrow, but, I have no reason to doubt what you were telling us.
I think you might want to change the letter to say that you can correct it yourself, either way. I mean, because it does say you may fix the problem yourself or contact an electrician. I mean,
Isn't that the best of both worlds?
I don't know, do you really, I mean, is that, would you allow a non-electrician to do an electrical repair in a house?
It could be as simple as just re-securing the.
Without,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead.
Thank you. It could be as simple as just bolting it back to the house. If it's more than that, you probably should get an electrician. But if it's just as simple, the box is pulled away, all you have to do is tighten the bolts up, or these screws up, and if they'll hold, then that would be, the power would be off, and it would be in the purview of the homeowner.
Okay.
Anything else from you, Larry?
Yes, I did, I think, Councilmember Shute did bring up some interesting points in his resolution, namely that, there's a concern of water and annexation agreements between the city of Gardner and the city of Olathe. But I do think it's time to also apply this standard to, one of our water department supervisors who is mayor of the city of Edgerton. I think there's a conflict of interest there that Mr. Shute did bring up, and I think it also applies to an elected official, so I don't know if that's something we can talk about, or, in the future, or if there's any concern by anyone else that.
Well, Austin, I've heard you bring it up several times, but I've never
So
heard
has Steve.
definitively what
Steve
you.
brought it up.
Sure, and in both cases, then, both of you, what actually you feel the conflict is. That's the part I've never come to terms with is, yes, there could be, but, Mayor Roberts is paid to do the job for the city of Gardner. If we don't believe he's doing the job, then a change can be made. He's elected to be the mayor of Edgerton, and if they don't believe he's doing the fine job, then he can be ousted from office at the next re-election cycle. I've never heard a definitive statement on what you believe the concern and the conflict truly is.
Steve, would you like to address that?
I think they were apples and oranges, Larry. I mean, he's an employee of the city of Gardner. He gets paid to do a job here at the city of Gardner. If individuals here feel that he's performing his duties in a manner that's not consistent with city policy in Gardner, they can take disciplinary action up to and including termination. That does not mean that as an elected city leader, it's the same as me. I work at a health system in another city, namely Denver, Colorado, okay? But I am on a city council here in Gardner, Kansas. I live in Gardner, Kansas. My family's in Gardner, Kansas. I work in Denver, but they don't have any, there's no employee policy that states that because of the fact that I'm, a city councilman, that they can terminate my employment in Denver. I mean, I don't think that's even a valid argument, but, yeah, we're getting away from things.
Is there consensus on council to look at what Councilman Podovich is after? Are we comfortable with our current working relationship with the water treatment plant operator?
I'm fine. Okay.
Okay. We can move on then. Heath, do you have anything?
Yeah, a couple things. Obviously, first, just offer an apology for not being able to attend this meeting. And obviously, this is a lively discussion. I'm sure I'll have a chance to do that. The rain had a different plan for us last week.